Hello again and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I thought I would do another army build video. I teased this one in my last army build video. This is going to be my army that I built a few years ago of Sectaurs from Zica Toys.
Welcome to the party, pal!
All right, so this is going to be my Sectaurs army. Like I said, I kind of mentioned this would probably be my next army build video in the last one. Got to thinking about it, and I'm really proud of this army. This is a really good army. I've had it for several years now. I was an original backer of the first Kickstarter and the second Kickstarter and the third one, but the third one did not fund, and then I think Zica lost the license for Sectaurs after that third Kickstarter, and I think Nacelle now has got the Sectaurs, and they're back to the scale that they were in the 80s when I was a kid. I did have two Sectaurs as a kid. Unlike I think a lot of people, I really wasn't big on the spiders, the gloves. I mean, it was a cool novelty, but I was always about the figures rather than the creatures. So I know because when this line came out, the spiders, the creatures weren't included. That kept a lot of people from backing the Kickstarters, but also too because they're scaled down to 375/118. But for me, that was perfect because that's the scale I collect. Really didn't care about the spiders or the mounts, the creatures. And so I backed all three Kickstarters. The first one was Wave 1. The second Kickstarter was Wave 1.5, which was a couple of repaints and redos of figures from Wave 1. And then the third one was going to be all new figures, more characters. Fortunately, that one didn't come through. I have a lot of them that I never opened. I army built this line, and like I do a lot of times, I never opened all the figures up. So I'll show you all the carded ones I have, but I do keep my loose ones I've already opened in this tin. I picked up this tin um, from a local comic book store. It did come with a full set of cards, Warriors of Plasma. I'm not familiar with it, but it was a really good deal. It was only like $5 or $6, and I really just wanted the tin. It's a little banged up, but I like tins. You know, I do have a small, um, I guess, about 6 or 7 lunch pails. And when I was a kid, I used to throw a lot of figures and things in these lunch pails that I had, mostly Star Wars. I still have one of them. And when I would go places, I would take it with me full of figures rather than, the thermos and the food. But this is kind of how I keep my loose ones in here. Just kind of show you they're, very tossed in here. This is kind of how I do these. I don't um, also don't keep these mint on card ones. Actually, um, I have a tub, a small tote tub that I keep all the carded figures in. Let me show you the carded ones really quick while we're here. So, like I said, I did army build, so I did get multiples of every figure. I'll show you this one last. So you can see here, I got some of these here. Green one. This is wave 1. This is wave 1.5. And a couple more. Now, these are a pretty penny now on the secondary market. They got quite expensive. These two here, I think at the very end on Zica Toys website, the very end when he had lost the license and he was just, selling his stock, he started selling, he only had Mantor left and he was selling it for like $3 and $4 a figure. So I went in and just bought three more, or maybe four more. Maybe it was three, I think. But I noticed that I think they were left because they had small imperfections. I don't see anything on this one or this one, but I'd have to open them. The one that I did open, the paint on the face was a little off on the eyes, and I think that was why they were kind of the last ones he had left. and then he was selling them at a discount price. And I remember letting a couple people know, hey, these sectars, they're only like $4, $3 on the site right now if you want them. And a couple people that I told said, those aren't really for me. I don't really care for them. And I said, okay, but I did let people know when I saw them. I used to check the Zica Toys website quite often, um, when they had these. And as you can see, I would go back and buy them whenever I could. Like I said, they're quite expensive now on the secondary market. So that is the ones that I have yet to open, but they are part of my army technically, because eventually I will open them all. Um, Here is the one that I mentioned that was like for $4. I think you can see if I can move the light a little bit closer. The paint on his eyes is just a little bit off. It's not a lot. And to kind of change this one, I did cut off his bandolier so that he doesn't have the attachment for the crossbow. But one of the things I really liked about these guys was they do come with guns, but they do come with swords and shields, and they're kind of that mix match of sci-fi, but the scale's perfect. I think this red one is probably my favorite, and the green one, these two. This is the same figure, just different color. But I think these two are my favorite. That's why, obviously I wish I would have got a few more of these ones. But I think I got four each. Can't remember how many I just showed you. But I usually, in my universe, here is that same guy, but he does have the strap, because he comes with like a crossbow. Um, but I do use these guys as one army, even though there is, like any story, there's a good side and a bad side. These guys here, these blue ones right here, do represent part of the bad squad. Let's see, here's another one of these. So sometimes I arm these guys up with their lasers. I did use these. I'll leave a link to it. I did use these in some of my toy photos of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello. Um, it's an older video of mine. It's a NECA product, one of the only NECA products I have. Um, the Portal, Donatello's Portal, and I use these guys in that video. Not all of them, but several of them. But like I said, I do use these as one single army. Um, I just, I pretend that they're all together rather than two different groups. And when they're all together like this, it is quite a big army. I only got a few of these open. Another one of the red ones. Um, but these are just wonderful figures. I know he did these, I think, in conjunction with Fresh Monkey Fiction. So a lot of this buck that they have here is, I think, Fresh Monkey Fiction. Some of the figures that they use also utilize some of this tooling. And you could tell because these ones did come with the magnets, which was kind of a novelty. They had pegs, they also had magnets. I found that some of the magnets do just kind of fall out. And because I have them in that tin, sometimes they get stuck to the tin. Um, but very good figures. I really like these. I was surprised some people didn't. I know it was a scale thing and there was no creatures, but as figures, they're really good. Of course, they have ball jointed hips and everything. This guy's really stiff. No thigh swivel, no bicep swivel, but hinged wrist, rocker ankle. He's got a nice ball joint at the torso, the barbell head. Lots of, just like the Fresh Monkey Fiction, because like I said, I think Zyka did these in conjunction with, or in collaboration with, Fresh Monkey Fiction. You got hands, man. You got almost 10 pairs of hands per guy. Just tons of hands. And of course, these can be used for, any any other 1/18 scale figure that has the same system. And then here's the bad guy, the leader of the bad guys. But again, it's just part of the army. He's just one of the generals. Does come with this whip. But let's put him right there. So this is the loose army. I just showed you the carded part. So you can see I've got it good. What is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. About 22 figures in this army. It is complete. They've gotten much too expensive for me to dip into now, um, but I'm really really proud of this army. This is one of the armies like I said, I probably built this army out a few years ago, and I was mostly using these guys without their pistols and just giving them their shields and spears and swords and using them in my fantasy stuff. But the last couple times I got them out, I said, you know what, I'm going to give them their rifles back, and I'm going to put them in my sci-fi world. So these guys, they have dual purpose, they have dual use. Unfortunately, they have gotten quite expensive, and they're a little bit tougher to get now. They're obviously not making them anymore. But I've always been a fan of Zica Toys once I got these. They also did another line that utilized the same buck, and I can't remember it right now. I'll try to put it here in the video. But these figures are excellent, man. They really are. If you were lucky enough to grab some like I did, I think you were pretty happy with them. No QC issues really for me. Um, it's just, I would still get these if the price was right, but it's not anymore. I think they're double, triple what they were during the Kickstarters. But a nice army. This is one of those armies. It's not Star Wars. Um, it but it fits right in. And it's good to have another alien force, so to speak, that you could battle the stormtroopers or battle the Rebel Alliance or whoever else you want. And they are quite unique in their styling and how they look. um, Very cool figures. That is my army, guys. If you want to see some pictures, um, check out that Donatello's um, portal video. I did get these guys out, not all of them, but most of them, and I still have some to open, and I will eventually open the rest when I need them or when I'm ready. So that's the video, guys. Real quick one. Another army build. I've got lots of armies to share with you guys. This was kind of a unique one I thought I'd pull out because I did tease it in the last army build video. All right, so that's the video. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you picked any of these up. Um, would you pick any of these up if the price was right? Because they are pretty fun, I think. And like I said, I think you'd be pretty happy with them. Okay, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye now.